Welcome. We've got some thrilling Arsenal news lined up for you, so stay tuned until the end to catch all the latest updates. And don't forget to leave 300 likes to keep us motivated in bringing you the latest Arsenal updates. The North London derby is absolutely buzzing this Sunday. Proper powder keg stuff at the Emirates, with Arsenal sat pretty at the top and desperate to keep stuffing Spurs like they have the last 3 times these lot have met. Arteta's crew are patched up something chronic after the international break. Gabriel's thigh is dodgy as hell, Calafiori's hip is still giving him jip, and Timber gave everyone a heart attack before declaring himself fit. Still, the Gunners should roll out Raya, Timber, Saliba, Mosquera, or maybe Hincapie, Lewis Skelly, Zubimendi, Rice, Ease, Soccer, Trossard, and Marino up top while Gyökeres nurses a tweak. The bench could have Madueke, Martinelli, and even Havertz back for the first time since the summer. Proper ammunition if it turns into a shootout. Across the divide, Thomas Frank Spurs are hardly the picture of health either, but they've got Vicario in goal, a tasty back four of Porro, Romero, who's apparently fine now, Van de Ven and Spence, then Polhinia and Bentancur holding the middle with Xavi Simons trying to make something happen. Kudus is back tearing up the right, Odobert or Johnson on the left, and Richarlison leading the line because Kolo Muani's jaw is wired shut and Solanke's only just off the physio's table. It's a proper scruffy, patched-together derby with both sides missing half their usual stars, but the Emirates will be bouncing, the banter will be vile, and someone's getting a first red card of the season before the tea's mashed. Absolute chaos incoming. Get the pies in and the blood pressure tablets ready. Pep Guardiola speaks out on Arsenal about why a £65 million move for Antoine Semenyo isn't top of Manchester City's wishlist but would be spot on for Arsenal. Manchester City are unlikely to trigger Antoine Semenyo's £65 million release clause when the January window opens, despite the Bournemouth flyer enjoying the sort of blistering form that normally has the big clubs reaching for the checkbook. City correspondent Stephen McInerney believes the transfer is far from a pressing need at the Etihad, where the wide options are already stacked. In contrast, he reckons Semenyo would slot in beautifully at Arsenal, who are crying out for a proper left-sided attacker to give Mikel Arteta's side an extra cutting edge. The 25-year-old has been nothing short of sensational this season, banging in 6 goals and laying on 3 assists in just 11 Premier League outings. Bournemouth briefly found themselves in the top 4 and still sit only 4 points behind second-placed City. Semenyo's two-footedness, relentless running and eye for goal have drawn comparisons with a prime Sadio Mane, and, outside of Erling Haaland, few players in the division are in richer vein of form right now. Last summer Semenyo penned a new deal that ties him to the Vitality Stadium until 2030, even though Manchester United and Tottenham were sniffing around. Crucially, however, a £65 million release clause kicks in from January, leaving Bournemouth powerless to block a big-money exit. City, Spurs and Liverpool have all been mentioned as possible destinations, yet the reigning champions appear to have cooled their interest considerably. Stephen McInerney, speaking on the esteemed Company podcast, pointed out that City's left flank is hardly short of quality. Jeremy Doku is finally delivering on his enormous promise, terrorizing fullbacks week in, week out. 4 or 5 months ago I might have been all for it, McInerney admitted. But right now, with the way we're playing and the way Doku links up with Nico O'Reilly, I just don't see it happening. Pep Guardiola himself has been full of praise for the Bournemouth man. Speaking to reporters recently, the City boss said, "He's absolutely brilliant. An outstanding player, and not just this season. The way Bournemouth play suits him down to the ground. Players like him are what make this league special, always hungry, always brave." City also have Omar Marmoush itching to play on the left, plus Savinho, Oscar Bob and the versatile Ryan Cherki, who can all operate out wide. Throw in Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva drifting over from the right when required, and it's easy to see why Semenyo might spend more time on the bench than on the pitch if he arrived at the Etihad. McInerney believes City's real concern is a lack of goals from the right flank rather than any urgency on the left. Across North London, however, the picture looks very different. McInerney jokingly pleaded with Arsenal not to sign him before immediately conceding that Semenyo would be a dream addition. He'd be perfect for them, far better than anything they currently have on that left side. Please don't do it, Arsenal, but seriously, he'd be an absolute nightmare for the rest of us. There's added romance to a potential Arsenal move. Semenyo grew up supporting the Gunners and once declared his ambition to play for a big club. As a teenager, he even had a trial at the Emirates that ended in rejection, making a triumphant return as a £65 million star, one of football's better redemption arcs. With the January window fast approaching and that release clause dangling like a shiny bauble, Antoine Semenyo'S future promises to be one of the winter's juiciest sagas. Manchester City can probably sit this one out, but for Arsenal it could prove the sort of statement signing that turns a title challenge into something rather more serious. Pep's glowing endorsement only underlines what everyone already knows: the lad is proper quality. Arsenal agony. Gyökeres told his a bit of a heavyweight as Gunners leak Havertz's dodgy relapse. Blimey, Arsenal fans, it's all kicking off at the Emirates just when you thought the lads were cruising. Fresh off that nail-biting 2-2 draw at Sunderland, where the Gunners chucked away a 2-goal lead like it was yesterday's chip paper, Mikel Arteta's mob are still perched 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League. 8 games without shipping a goal before that slip-up? Proper fortress mentality. But with the North London derby against Tottenham looming like a proper storm cloud, the injury bog's deeper than the Thames at low tide. And it's not just bumps and bruises, we're talking a £64 million Swedish striker getting stick for being a tad portly and the German golden boy nursing a relapse that'll have the punters proper fuming. Victor Gyökeres, the big lad who rocked up from Sporting Lisbon in the summer for a king's ransom, was supposed to be the answer to Arsenal's goal woes. 6 strikes in 14 outings ain't half bad on paper. Mind you, he's chipped in with some tidy finishes and looked sharp linking up with the midfield maestros. But let's be honest, the Emirates faithful were expecting fireworks, not just a few sparklers. That blistering pace and flair he flashed in Portugal? It's been a bit on the slow side here, like he's carrying an extra fry-up in his back pocket. Arteta's been patient, slotting him into the 11 and letting him bed in, but whispers from the treatment room are turning heads. The boy's a doubt for Sunday's scrap with Spurs after tweaking his hamstring against Burnley on November 1st, his best showing in red and white, funnily enough, where he was bossing it up top like a proper fox in the box. Enter Stefan Schwarz, the ex-Arsenal midfield terrier and fellow Swede, who's not one to mince his words over a cuppa. Chatting on some pod or other, Schwarz reckons Gyökeres needs to shed a few pounds to hack it in this mad Premier League circus. He's not fully fit yet, the old Gunners stalwart spilled, and with the new system, new gaffer, new mates, it takes time to gel. It's not just the legs, it's the noggin too. Mental fatigue from all the hype, the global spotlight, it's a right old adjustment. Spot on, innit? Moving to a club where every misplaced pass gets dissected on TalkSport like it's the Zapruder film, no wonder the lad's looking a smidge knackered. But Schwarz didn't stop there. He went full uncle at the family do, dishing out the tough love. Sometimes the dog who barks loudest ain't the toughest nut, Schwarz chuckled, before getting stuck in proper. The Premier League's full of beasts quicker, stronger lads who'll run you ragged. Strikers live or die by their goals, so Victor needs to start banging him in, get on a roll, and maybe trim down a bit. He's a heavy player, see? Lighter on his feet, and he'll be causing merry hell. Ouch, that's the sort of advice that stings worse than a dodgy kebab after closing time. Gyökeres, all 6 feet 2 inches of him, built like a rugby prop, has that raw power alright terrorizing defenders with his hold-up play and those thunderous runs. But in a league where Holland's gliding about like a gazelle on steroids, every ounce counts. Arsenal splashed £64 million on potential, and now the jury's out. Is he the finished article, or does he need a spell with the salad bowl before he terrorizes Spurs? Meanwhile, across the channel, Kai Havertz's comeback trail just hit another pothole, and it's got the Arsenal backroom staff pulling their hair out. The 26-year-old German, who cost a pretty penny from Chelsea and was meant to be the versatile spark in Arteta's engine room, has been sidelined since the opening whistle of the season. A knee knock that turned nasty required a spot of the old surgeon's knife minor procedure, they said, but 3 months in, and the lad's still twiddling thumbs on the physio's bench. He was this close to gracing the squad against Burnley, teasing fans with visions of him drifting into pockets and threading those silky balls. But no such luck. He's officially a no-go for the derby, leaving the Gunners' attack feeling a bit threadbare. Julian Nagelsmann, the Germany gaffer who's got the Mannschaft purring with that 6-0 demolition of Slovakia in World Cup qualifying, couldn't keep the lid on it. Kai had a small relapse on his injury, he let slip post-match, but overall, he's ticking along all right. If the wind's fair, he could be back in the mix towards the end of the year. Towards the end of the year? That's Christmas crackers and New Year's toasts. We're talking a proper gut punch for Arsenal, who need bodies now, not in the sales. Havertz, with his languid style and eye for the spectacular, was the wild card Arteta dreamed of, scoring screamers 1 minute, mopping up in midfield the next. Without him, the lads have been scraping by, and that Sunderland draw exposed the cracks, all heart, no killer instinct when it mattered. It's a right old injury apocalypse at London Coney these days, innit? Gabriel's thighs giving him jip after Brazil duties, Calafiori's hips still sulking from Italy shenanigans, and don't get us started on the midfield merry-go-round without Rice firing on all cylinders. Arteta's been preaching rotation like it's gospel, but with the Derby cauldron bubbling and Champions League ties on the horizon, every session's a scramble. Gioca's hamstring ping feels like the final straw. He was starting to look the part, bossing that Burnley affair with a goal threat that had the away end chanting his name. Now, it's Yos's turn up top, or maybe a cheeky reshuffle with Soccer cutting in from the right. The Gunners' depth's been tested before, but this lot's got the whiff of a proper crisis about it. Schwartz's weight jibe on Gioca's has sparked a proper Twitter storm. Mind half the punters calling it bang out of order, the other half nodding along like it's the most obvious thing since sliced bread. He's built like a tank, that's his strength, one gooner fired back, while a rival troll chipped in with no wonder he's relapsing too many Swedish meatballs. Banter aside, there's method in the madness. The Premier League's a sprint in a marathon world, and if Gioca's wants to join the Holland Harry Kane elite, shedding a few kilos could unlock that turbo he promised. Arteta's no mug, he'll have the nutritionists on it quicker than you can say kipper. But for now, it's all about damage limitation, get the lad patched up and praying he doesn't turn into another big money bench warmer. As for Havertz, Nagelsmann's end-of-the-year timelines got fans proper brassed off. That's weeks of watching from the stands, missing the derby ding-dong and potentially the festive fixtures where points get dished out like mince pies. The German's been a slow burner since day, but when he clicks, blimey, his poetry in motion. Remember that brace against Chelsea? Pure class. Arsenal forked out £65 million for his services, banking on that X-factor to tilt the title race. A relapse now smacks of bad karma after the internationals, where half the squad came back limping like they'd been tackled by a steamroller. Arteta's presser tomorrow will be a masterclass in deflection, no doubt one game at a time and all that jazz, but deep down, he's sweating bullets. Thanks for watching Arsenal Time. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Continue following the Gunners' journey with us, and see you in the next video. Come on, you Gunners!